That drum roll was perfect.
Yeah, I know. I timed it up. They don't call me the sound master for nothings.
I call you that.
I know, but they don't call me the sound master for nothing.
I don't identify as they. Those aren't my
People.
pronouns. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Irbal Sinergy, the shop. I'm your host Sinji. With me, as always, my co-host, the Sound Master, the Troll Master, Irby.
Hello, it's me.
That drum roll was perfect.
Yeah, I know. I timed it up. They don't call me the sound master for nothings.
I call you that.
I know, but they don't call me the sound master for nothing.
I don't identify as they. Those aren't my
People.
pronouns.
It's the people. They call me the sound master because you call me sound master, dog.
I am he, him.
Yeah, like I said, the people call me the sound master.
Respect my pronouns.
Nah, I ain't respect you at all.
Damn.
Continue.
Hostility in the air,
all,
reality.
all the still of the hostels right here, baby.
All the still of the hostels.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm here.
Not queer.
You don't know.
Whoa. Breakthrough.
But yeah. What's your flavor of the week?
Flavor? Shit. All right. You caught me off guard. I didn't even think about it. I feel like it's something from JoJo's. I'm just going through the little bit of notes that I did take real quick. You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. My flavor, I'm gonna say it's out of down to down because it's kind of like a life lesson. Because there was an incident where Miss ISA and my boy Ken, or Okarun as she likes to call him, there was a misunderstanding, and she was kind of like pouting about it. And so he was like, instead of just pouting about it, just tell me what's bothering you, what's wrong, so we can fix this. So I think that applies to a lot of things in life. Hopefully the younger generation will see this and stop subliminal subtweeting at folks, because why are you putting you angry or sad or whatever and hoping that the person sees it and messaging you when you could just go straight to the root cause and get it all handled out? But I was like, yeah, that was a nice moment. But they keep doing my boy wrong, so I'm like, But
A lot of people don't know how to communicate.
Sure don't. So I'm just like, yeah, it's not on my boy Ken, because his feelings wasn't hurt no type of way, but hers were. So yeah, that was that. You come up with your flavor yet?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with learning that Dio took over Jonathan's body.
Oh yeah, that was one.
Yeah, and like the way you learn it's kind of like, oh shit, because like Joseph, Grandpa Joseph, was explaining that Joestars all have a star on the back of their neck / shoulder area, like
their trap.
Yeah,
like the collar line. Yeah.
And then he was like, we know what came out of that coffin. So you just see Dio, but like you see the star. And he's like, hey, that bastard has my grandfather's body. And I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
And then like we discover at the same time that like because he has Jonathan's body, he's able to have a stand. Which I still don't really understand how stands work, but...
Yeah, they explain it to you later. Essentially, it's like a manifestation of their own identity and will into things. That
I'm
makes sense.
sorry. I misspoke. Not that like I don't understand how it works. 'Cause they did explain that. More like I don't understand why it was randomly introduced.
Mm, yeah, they get into that later. Cause it's yeah, they get into it later. It has something to do with energies and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Does Jolene have a stand?
That's too far out of the season for me to tell you anything about it.
Damn.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing.
All
But
right. Well,
yeah.
that's that.
Yeah, so I guess we could talk about some JoJo's.
Oh, sure. Let's talk about JoJo. So, I was so entranced in like what I was watching that like I forgot to take proper notes. But the notes that I did take, I'll try to use that to help me remember everything that was exactly going on. Because I think I got enough of like each episode to like get me up to season 2. So like we left off and Caesar was dead. So um
That real. I had sent
yes.
you. That was hilarious.
Uh, I lost my train of thought. Um yeah, so
Caesar was dead.
Caesar was dead and
No salad.
no, and JoJo and Lisa proceeded to go further into the I think it's a hotel.
Yeah, it's something along those lines.
They end up surrounded by, you know, vampires in the ceiling and whatnot, and like the one dude's pride uh, got involved, and he was like, "I promised JoJo I would fight him 1-on-1." So they end up deciding to do like 2 1-on-1 battles, and they did it in
They're
the form.
racing.
They did it in the form of a gladiator type of that's that's what that was like. That's Roman Empire.
Yeah, gladiator racing because I think that's probably one of their favorite errors.
Yeah. So and there were a ton of like cool and interesting moments. It was kind of like surprising that like JoJo kept like falling for like the obvious traps, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna go for the biggest one. Like he should have just went for the smallest one. Like I just have a feeling. Um, but like he was cool in the head. It was just you know, Homeboy had the strength to adapt and it become advantageous. Now I think it's interesting how when dude fired his crossbow because Joseph couldn't fire his because it was too big to pull properly. How like it was smart of Joseph to like use the middle pillar so that like he couldn't get the shots off. But then he used the side walls to ride the um the ball, the bullet, whatever you want to call that thing, because it was pretty big.
Projectile.
The projectile, and then like it used one of the bumps on the wall to perfectly ricochet and hit Joseph in the back. But the impact on Joseph allowed him to load up um his weapon,
Oh yeah.
and then he pretended that like he was panicking and fired it randomly, and it just rolled the same. It did the same thing and rolled along the wall the long way and blew a hole through the dude. So Joseph very cleverly ended up getting the win through a moment of like desperation, and like he used the wind that dude was bringing in to make Hamon enter, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah, his twin hurricane technique thing. He was, I would say, let's back up a little bit though. The whole setup, what he did with the little rag and the oil,
Mm-hmm.
that was just ingenious.
How do
With
you
all
remember
that.
that perfectly? That's impressive, actually.
Hey man, I told you I like JoJo's.
I could tell like I could tell you're like really into JoJo's because like anything I'm watching, like you recall the episode almost perfectly. Like I imagine that's like me with like Sons of Anarchy and maybe me with like One Piece. Definitely me with Sword Art Online. So like but it's impressive because like you've only really watched it once or twice, right?
Once.
Once, yeah, that's really impressive. Like I need multiple watches just to recall something that well.
She. But yeah, it's yeah, just the setup like JoJo, the way he just does things. I was like, oh, he's just randomly doing this. Like, why would he do that with the air and the fire? And then like,
Yeah, nothing with him is like
as it
random.
seems.
Yeah, it's always so like interesting to see how like it turns around.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, he just threw away his gum. It turns out he threw his gum in some place so that the guy will stick to it later.
Yeah.
Just something silly like that, but it's cool to watch and see. But yeah, the whole fight was just like masterfully done and all the setup and everything for it. I was like, oh man, there he goes right there, and he's doing this, this, and this. I was like, oh, that's great.
Um I also feel like if I could critique a little, I felt like
Yeah,
when Jonathan got the Hamon from the dude Caesar's grandfather,
yeah.
right? I feel like when Jonathan got his Hamon, he became strong enough to fight Dio one on one because like Dio was like too much for him before. I feel like Caesar's Hamon didn't really do anything for Joseph. Like he seemed like
So
he still had the same. Maybe he was able to use it longer.
I feel like so there's like two things here. I think that like Joseph, he's fighting completely different beings, so it's like you might not see the change or whatever. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like apples to apples. And then like his hormone, like he's still like a newbie. Like he never had as much training as his predecessor though,
Right.
because he could he could like heal himself and do all sorts of stuff with his hormone. And Jonathan, yeah, Joseph, he's like a barely touching the surface. Like he essentially he's like taking shortcuts to do what he needs to do, but doesn't really know how to do all sorts of certain things. So that might be why it seems like he's stronger. And I think it might just be a temporary boost too. I'm not sure how long it goes, but yeah,
Gotcha.
continue, sir.
So to and now that you mentioned it, it really was like a lot. I didn't think it was a lot of episodes, but like I'm like thinking back to how much content I actually absorbed, and like I know I said this last time, but like it really is a lot to take in for like the little bit of time you're watching it. Like you could I feel like I could watch one or two episodes a week and I'd have enough to talk about for 15 to 20 minutes. Like
Yeah,
easy.
it's so easy like just to like get entranced and be like, oh man, like oh that he's doing this, and then like the whole yeah, just the whole setting up of that fight and how he finally beats him. Like I was like, oh man, my man, he finna go down. But then I was like, wait, he's started the show. He can't go down yet.
Yeah, I can
No.
honestly say like I don't enjoy JoJo enough to like put it in like my top 5, but like I also haven't finished it yet, so like it's open. I'm still open to that possibility, but like I could also also honestly say that like I can't say I can't give other animes the same compliment I just gave JoJo's. Like, whether we're talking Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach, One Piece, um, Tokyo Revengers, even ReZero that like had me like so excited to watch every single episode, every single week, everything was surprising. Like, I can't honestly say that like if I watch an episode or two, I can easily talk about what I saw for 15 to 20 minutes. Whereas in JoJo's, there's so much to digest and like to think about and to talk about.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it don't even be like necessarily that much that goes on, but it's like the way in which they do it. You're like, oh man, like you're like, yeah, he just did this one little thing that caused this whole avalanche of doing that, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, this and like you got to give credit to maybe the producers a little bit because I don't know how close to the manga the show is, right? So like, but animes are always whether it's strongly or like just a little bit different from the manga. So like I give credit to whatever powers that are involved and put this together and produce this, and that like it almost seems like your brain is always active while you're watching JoJo's, whether you're in all of something, um, interested in something, or just questioning something. Like you're always like thinking about what you're watching in a way.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's like, what? Hey, that looked weird. Why'd he do that? And then it shows up later, and you're like, oh, that's why he did it. He's a genius.
So and again, like it's gonna come up again, but like to get there, I gotta talk about the Lisa fight because Joseph won, so then it was Lisa's turn, but it turned out that that dude, and I kind of had a feeling like he never had any intentions of actually fighting, so he used I guess he morphed a different vampire to look like him, and then he gave Lisa a critical hit from behind. Joseph went to rescue her, and that's where you had a cool moment where like he stabbed her through the feet and then like hung her by a rope and then tossed the rope to Joseph and then like basically told him like, hey, you do anything, I'm gonna cut this rope, like what are you gonna do? So Joseph, like he made like a desperate lunge and then like got flung backwards, and then like he did something else and obviously dude cut the rope, but then he ended up falling instead, and then it turns out Joseph like when he made the reckless move, his true intention was to swap the ropes and tie it to his leg. So then the rope tied to JoJo was directly tied to Lisa, so that she was never in danger from that moment on. And I was like, bro, like you're not gonna catch things like that. It's so like well done on like it like it's that's all I can really say. It's well done, well choreographed scenes. If it's directly from the manga, I really gives kudos to the producers of the show.
Yeah,
On
I'll have to read the manga to see does it differ,
differ.
but I don't think it differs because I started reading the last season. I was like, oh, this is pretty much what's on TV. I didn't recall that one, so I was like, I'm just gonna watch the TV.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said before with Solo, like I like if I could find an audio book version of something I enjoy, I'll listen to it to see how it differs. Because like that's really interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, and I always want to see like, was the difference good, positive? Was it negative? Was it neutral? Like, was it something could have lived without? Like a lot of things we've talked about a lot of things on the solo leveling anime. It made no sense defer. And I hate to think this, but like I feel like they wouldn't have done that if the creator was alive.
Yeah.
A lot of things with the Boruto, I don't know what the they were thinking when they made 90% of that show filler when it first came out.
Yeah, that was a fool's errand. I'm like this isn't even cool. I'm like, reading's way better.
I think they just thought that like they could write off the Naruto hype and
The
just put anything
yeah, the
out there,
nostalgia. Yeah.
and then people would just love it. And I mean, and they get some people who are like, "Oh, Boruto's better than One Piece," and like if you
Mm,
enjoy the anime that much, kudos to you. It's hard. It was hard for me to watch it, and I didn't understand why you enjoyed it until I finally started. I'm like, is reading it that much better?
yeah.
I'm just gonna miss some of the fillers, and then you realize almost all of it was filler. I'm like, bro, almost nothing I watched happened. That's crazy.
Exactly. That's why I was like, yeah, you should just read it because it's just so much better.
So yeah, just to get back on track. And again, this is the effect that JoJo seems to have. Like it makes you think, it makes you compare, it makes you like really interested in like what's going on. So like just to go back, Joseph was still cunning, smart. Like he doesn't seem like the type, but he's playing chess. He's one or two steps ahead, and he comes out on top against the big bad final boss. And then here comes the fucking German dude with his German science, and
Von Stroheim.
they use the freaking German science to unleash the power of the sun, the Capri Sun, on this dude. But guess what?
Capri Sun.
Guess what? He put the mask on with the gem, and then he became immortal. I was like, bruh. And the first thing he does when he's immortal is he makes a squirrel. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man, that squirrel's gonna be there's definitely something wrong with that squirrel. And then, what made this funny was the squirrels found another squirrel, and they seemed like they were like, oh, that's cute. What I don't understand what's going on. And then like the squirrel turned demonic and ate and killed the other one. And I was like, they were like, oh my god. And I was like, bro, he just a vampire made the squirrel. I don't know what you guys were expecting.
Yeah.
But then the real fight started, and really, the dude was only after Joseph. So like Joseph was like, "Oh, there's only one thing." Oh, I skipped over something really important. We learned Lisa is Joseph's mother. Lisa is the baby that Elizabeth saved on the ship,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo."
I
She
told her to
old
come
as
full
fuck.
circle. Yeah, she's you gotta be like 50, but I thought she was like 30 something, 40.
Yo, Joseph was spying on her naked.
Yeah, I was like, but
He's
yeah, it's yeah, I told you you'd find out. You're like, yeah, they didn't even show you what happened to the baby, and I was like,
That's what happened to the baby. And her
yeah,
story's kind of crazy because like Joseph's dad wasn't a hormone user. It looks like it skips a generation. Is the
yeah,
pattern I'm starting to get.
yeah, because his dad was a pilot in I think the First World War or something. Yeah, he ended up perishing.
And
I don't think it skips a generation. I just think some people just don't have an aptitude for it, and he just didn't have an aptitude for it.
okay, so we'll ride with that until I get further. You must know something I don't know. But right now I'm going with it skips a generation.
Yeah,
That's just me going from season one to hold on, because it was Jonathan, then it was Joseph, but then Jonathan is Joseph's grandfather. So then it's Joseph, and now it's Jotaro, and Jotaro is Joseph's grandson. Yeah, I'm going with skipping a generation for now.
Yeah, it probably is true, but I just don't think his dad had an aptitude for it, or he might have had like minor use and it worked that way or not. I don't
I mean,
know.
he could have just not needed to use it and didn't use it because Jonathan didn't trigger Hamon until like Dio
He
became
got
a
attacked.
yeah.
Yeah,
So like it could just be that, but then again, like Lisa had it. I don't know if he was trying to um I don't think they go into detail on like him training or anything.
yeah,
But he was in the Air Force and like in serving one of the survivors from Dio's crew infiltrated the Air Force and became like a higher up and um when he was about to blow the whistle he got busted, so that's how Joseph's Jotaro's no, Joseph's grandfather died. Too many JoJos, damn it.
yeah.
That's how
They
Joseph's father died. Father, not grandfather. Father died. And Lisa went. She infiltrated the army out of revenge and killed him, but no one knew about vampires. So then she became wanted, and that's when she changed her identity and moved to Italy and became Lisa.
yeah.
I retained that. That was a crazy story to me.
Yeah, it's it was a cool detail though.
It was like it tied up. I was like, oh, she's from the ship. That makes sense, sort
Yeah.
of, but I get it.
I mean, it would only be right if she did learn about the existence of the mask and all the hormone stuff that she'd have to do in order to defeat folks one day.
I agree 200%.
Yeah, so like her learning the stuff is it's right on par, so she should know. Yeah.
So fast forward back to where I was. The main villain is chasing Joseph, and Joseph does his, oh, I'm pretending I'm running away, but I'm really luring the guy who's only after me away. And the little black kid goes after him and is like, yo, what do you. He's like, he's only chasing me. You could stop at any time. Now, I don't really know how I feel about this next moment. It threw me off because he jumped off the cliff and then he came up with a plane like immediately after. And I was just like, the cliff wasn't short, and you need time to take off on the plane. You came facing the cliff, which meant like you either went forward and turned around, or the plane was facing, and you needed time to lift off. I was like really confused about how he got the plane.
Yeah. That's just one detail you just gonna have to overlook.
Listen, I point out plot holes, man. I'll point out things that raise eyebrows. I'm like, yo, I don't know if this part was handled correctly, but I'm gonna roll with it because now we got an air battle, and really it was just he didn't know what to do, so the freaking dude was launching scales at him. He can like transform his body to anything, so he became like a mutant bird thing. That was a detail I left out. Like he became the pinnacle of all beings. He was immortal. He can transform to whatever he wanted. Which was really interesting to me, a really interesting detail to me. I was like, really? I don't know. I didn't think we were going for that, but cool. Now he's really hard to kill.
Yeah, I mean, they were ancient creatures from the long time. So I'm trying to figure out because certain mythologies have certain creatures that could just like shapeshift and morph and do things that are considered gods. So it it could be that guy. So I don't know, but yeah,
I think it'd be cool if there were more crossovers with like shows like JoJo's, and like you could with some royalties. Like I can see Yu-Gi-Oh JoJo's deck. You know what I mean?
like Yu-Gi-Oh JoJo's deck.
Yeah. Just some crazy
Like,
shit, you know.
yeah,
Play the spell card Speedwagon to equip it to a Joestar.
yeah. Immediately draw 5 cards for help. Discard 2 or something. I don't know. But yeah, continue on with your analysis.
I just thought of something stupid. Like you play a Joseph spell card, and it makes the next 3 cards your opponent draw. He has to draw them facing, like he can't see them. He draws them, but they're facing the other way, so like you can see them, but he can't. Anyways, so Joseph gets the idea, like lead him. The only thing I can think of to like murk this dude is the volcano. So he drags him to the volcano. He's not making it. The plane's about to go. Plane's going down. What's the German dude's name again?
Von Stroheim.
Von Stroheim enters. He comes out of a cockpit. I don't know when he showed up, bro. He was with them. He helped make the final guy into the immortal that he is. When did he find time to get into the cockpit? I don't understand these things that are happening right now. He's like, I knew you were going to be in trouble, so I snuck onto this thing. I was like, but when did you have the time to do that? Is my question.
He's bionic, man. He can do whatever.
Except when.
Yeah.
So whatever. He helped. JoJo was able to land safely thanks to him. Boss landed in the volcano. He was trying to morph into, like, he was trying to create like a hard shell, but like it was breaking down. And he realized that like he needed something that was non-living, I think the term was.
Non-organic.
Yeah, non-organic. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So once he created that thing that was non-organic, he dug a hole Naruto style to reach under JoJo's, and like once he saw him, he cut his arm off. Like boom, done. Arm gone. Like, damn, he chopped his arm off. I don't think Hamon's gonna fix that.
It's not.
It's just like, oh shit, what is he gonna do? He couldn't handle him before. What the hell is he gonna do now? Well, the happy-go-lucky movement and fighting made the volcano active, and I think some added hormone really, really, really launched them up into the air, and then he thought he was just gonna use his wings to get off. But if I remember correctly, Joseph used hormone to make like things push him in the air, and von Stroheim used his arm to keep launching him into. He ended up in space, where he. Another thing I'm gonna say is how cold space is. The vacuum of space is what beat him, even though he's not dead. He's just now forever conscious, floating in empty space. I mean, he might fly into the sun or something, but like, I don't know. I don't know how hot the sun is compared to a volcano. It's probably hotter.
It's way hotter. But yeah,
isn't that kind of crazy though? Because like, so isn't heat determined by its color?
It depends.
The intensity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shouldn't the sun be like leaning towards blue if it's that hot?
I think white hot's more of a term.
White hot? Or that one. Or maybe it is on the surface, and what we see is just the like a stove flame. Yeah, like the flame on the stove on the bottom it's blue, but like towards the top it like you start seeing orange, I think.
Yeah. It's something like that. The distance too also does it. But yeah,
I'm already questioning shit and answering it.
Yeah, it's definitely hotter. Like if you flew into the sun, he'd definitely burn up.
You think so? You think he'd burn up?
Yeah, I think he would.
Um. So then we were left with the question of how the fuck is JoJo gonna get down? Well, he fell. He fell down. Next episode came. There was a funeral. A guy came out the car. He was wondering who the hell died, and he was expecting a welcome party. And it's like, my friends are at a funeral. And it's like, what? Who's the poor bastard that died? Hold up, that's my name. I'm not dead.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're alive? And he's like, Elizabeth. No, what's the girl's name?
I forget her name, but the blonde head maid. They just like, I'll
Yeah,
be back
the
for
bimbo.
you.
Yeah, he's like, I thought you sent the letter. And she's like, oopsies. And he's like, what do you mean? It's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So there ends season 1. JoJo
Yeah.
and Joseph ends up with the blonde that he promised he'd come back for. Lisa is his mom, and I think she moved back to where she's from. And they continued on. Elizabeth died of old age, but happy. And thus, we can get into season 2 a little. And might I add, we came off topic a little bit, but like we were thinking it was going to be a short episode, like, and look how far JoJo's has already carried us.
Yeah. JoJo's, and it's always a lot to talk about. It's very entertaining and fun.
That's not mean, bro. Like I'd be wanting to watch a lot of episodes, but then I'm like, I can't retain all of that, and I don't write good enough notes to even talk about it. And even if I did write good notes, that'd be too much to talk about.
Yeah. I feel you, dog.
So I don't want to get into season 2 too much. I'm not far in. I think I'm 1 or 2 episodes in. I've met Jotaro. I've met the Stan. I've seen Grandpa Joseph. I've met Joseph's daughter, who I do not like. Her okay.
Yeah, she's real ditzy.
She's real annoying.
Yeah.
But I don't even think I like. I don't like Jotaro right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like his delinquent attitude.
He's not even really a delinquent.
He's not, and I know he's not, and I know he's like. He's like, in his way, a good guy.
He
It's
just
just
doesn't
there's
like be
something.
told
He's
what to
rubbing me
do.
off right now. He's rubbing on me the wrong way right now. He's rubbing off on me the wrong way.
So his whole behavior, it kind of gets explained later, like stuff to do, and like it, it kind of it doesn't really switch, but like he portrays himself or carries himself like a different way, but still also while being the same of kind of like, hey, you know, I don't want any trouble, but I'll cause trouble for you if I need to, type deal.
A couple things I noticed in season 2 that like I want to talk about, and I question them, but I can also justify them. Joseph is racist towards Japanese people, but his daughter married a Japanese dude and moved to Japan.
So I think that whole thing, I don't necessarily think he's racist towards him. I think he just hates his Japanese son for taking his daughter away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another thing is, and mind you, I wouldn't have noticed this if I watched it like when it first came out. But since, I'm watching it like almost, I wouldn't say like I'm on a marathon, but like I'm watching them close enough where I can remember details like this. In the season 1, when Caesar was all my grandfather, blah blah blah, my father, blah blah blah, Joseph was, they're dead, dude. Like they're not. I get where you're coming from, but they're not worth dying for. And like, let's be smart about this. So like, he went from that attitude to like in season 2. Dio, that bastard's in my grandfather's body. And like I can kind of justify like where like that might be different. Like, okay, he's dead. Let him rest in peace. I'm gonna live, to all right, this fucking monster is desecrating, is like putting shame on my family. He's using my grandfather's body. Like he might see it like he can't rest in peace. And Joseph is, all jokes aside, he's a good person, but he's also funny. So
It's
where
kind of like when Yuji's like, "Oh, I killed all those people in that Shiba incident," but it wasn't really him.
yeah. So like again, like I questioned it, it rose an eyebrow, but then I was like, I can also justify it. So like I'm not gonna harp on that.
Yeah, yeah. So, where did you finish up at?
I finished up at I eh, the last thing I really remember is the dude who could has the green stand that could like take control of other people and was taking control of the nurse. Uh,
Yeah.
Jotaro beat the shit out of him. That's what I remember.
Okay.
And then I
But
think
yeah,
he was taking him to see his grandfather.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. You just getting into the bare bones stuff now.
But yeah, it's just um, if I had to, if I had to at this moment rate which JoJo gave the bigger impression on me at first, it was right now it's Joseph in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like his introduction was his first couple episodes were more entertaining. I want to say.
Yeah. I mean, also this one just been like you could probably could get away a little bit more because it's already been established. So it's like you have to be interesting yet still be able to captivate your audience. But yeah, this one just yeah, there's some stuff that goes on. I'm like, oh man, that man thought like 9 moves ahead.
Now,
But he's yeah.
and if I'm not mistaken, okay, so it's Jonathan, Joseph, Jotaro, Jolene. There's how many more are there? Because there's technically three more seasons, but the first season had two JoJos. But I don't think I don't think season two is gonna have two JoJos. I mean, unless you want to count Joseph. So I want to say I don't think season two is gonna have three JoJos.
Yeah, there's I can't tell you too much because there's like 2 seasons that have a twist to them
Okay.
that you'd be like, oh snap.
Yeah, I gotta
So
stop asking questions. This is not something you should like. This is something you should have questions, but like you shouldn't seek answers because like
yeah,
the
because you're gonna
questions
be
always seem to like come back into play later on.
yeah, you're gonna be sorely like damn, I've ruined that for myself.
Dude, I hate that, and like I haven't had that with JoJo's yet. I haven't like, I don't think I've been able to predict anything that like has happened.
Yeah, it's yeah, because 2 seasons or yeah, they got some different ones that you'll see.
Yeah, I think because I was just only asking is like I only know about like five.
In a good way.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
that's
so
fine. What is there anything you'd like to talk about? I've been going on JoJo's for like 40 minutes.
yeah. Talked about Down to Down last season. They're well, last 2 episodes they've been fighting this sea creature that attacked them and has some scenes in there that were funny but also traumatizing if you're a little kid. Um, Finished up an episode of Sirei Guseki. That one feels like it's dragging on a little bit. Could be doing a little bit more. Uh, I did watch a little bit of Near Ultima. I can't stand the one robot because he's just like the one guy was like, oh, he's just a coward. I was like, I'm inclined to agree with him because he does cowardly things at this point. Like attacking robots that don't even want to fight. They're like, we're peaceful, and he's like, all robots are scum, and I gotta kill them all. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. That robot was running away from you. That robot wasn't gonna do you no harm. You mad because that one robot killed your friend, and now you killing all robots. I'm like, stop it. But yeah, got nothing too much really. I'm playing all the Yu's. That's where I get my animes from. The Yu-Gi-Oh.
A for our any of our audiences into Elden Ring, I've been doing my best to do like a Jinu song run. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to go through the entire game only using daggers, and it has been difficult. The crickets are always there, cheering me on while I run away from hard battles because all I have are two daggers. And on another note, I started a show actually that it's kind of interesting. It's not like um, it's one of those I made an isekai to make an isekai. You know what I mean? Where it's not like it's not gonna reach your top 10 list, but it's entertaining to watch. And I think it's I'm a loner in the next life or something like that. Let me I can pull it up in a few clicks. Let me see. Prime Video.
Loner in the next life.
Loner Life in Another World. That's what it is.
Sounds like you.
And what it was is like this guy is a loner. Obviously, he doesn't interact with any groups. He was bored in school. He's all he likes to do is read, and he saw when he was trying to sleep, the class was making a commotion. So he opened his eyes, and it was a reincarnation circle spreading on the floor, and he was like, "Oh, is that one of those things from my books? Am I gonna be in a world where I'll get powers?" And he got really excited for like 2 seconds, and he was like, "On second thought, that sounds like a pain. I'm out." And he tried to leave the classroom, and the door was locked, and he started freaking out. And then he climbed up an vent, and he was like, "It shouldn't get me up here," and it got him up there anyway. So because he avoided the circle for so long, like all of his classmates already showed up, met the person who summoned them, got their abilities, and the way it worked was there was just like a board with different skills, and it was first come first serve. So the only things that were left were all the trash abilities. But in this show, like his trash abilities that he thought were garbage, they match up so well with each other that they just become OP, and he's like the most useful person in the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing to write home about, but it's entertaining if you like run out of things to watch and you happen to have
Oh, I
like
saw
that.
the clip. I was like,
Yeah,
oh. I was like, the clip. I was like, that looks cool.
it did. It is. It's entertaining to say the least.
Yeah, just like paranoia agents kind of out there. Started watching that one. It's like, oh, okay. It's not too shabby.
Yeah,
Shabby slappy.
not too shabby.
The arms is a little bit flabby. Flabbergasted. But yeah,
That's all I
that's a nice
really
one.
have.
I'll check it out.
I started reading a couple new new stories. Let me see. One is called "The End Is a Game to Me," and it's literally just you know, guy was streaming and he only had one viewer, and the one viewer was like, "I choose you," and then his life became real life stream. So like he ended up in an apocalyptic world, and he's the
Mm,
player, he's the streamer, and like he gets to see like comments and whatever, but like no one else sees it, and like people can donate to him, and he's like going through this apocalyptic world as if it's a zombie survival apocalypse game.
yeah.
I started reading this one called Juvenile Detention Center, and
Oh yeah, it
it's
seems like Rob your alley.
yeah, and it's basically um God, this kid's father is part of the Yakuza, and so he beat his son every day to try to toughen him up. And his best friend, who's an orphan, she didn't like that his father kept beating him, so she tried to tell him to stop. And he walked in on his father, like he hit her or pushed her to the ground or something. So he flipped and like went apeshit and hit him over the head with a vase and put him in a coma. So that's how he thought that, because if he explained that his father was part of the Yakuza gang and he was abusive, that like he'd get off lightly, but he ended up in a juvenile detention center where he was really doing anything he could, no matter what shame it was, to raise money. Because him and his friend, who's really, I think they really liked each other, like love, like they would have got married. Um, they were saving money to move to like Seoul, which I think in Korea is a big city.
It is.
And on her way to see him one night, she got hit by a car or a bus.
Kun.
Yep. So like his reason for being, even to get out, was non-existent, and he started like fighting back and like really taking over the juvenile detention center. And then his dad, who woke up from his coma, came in and said, "Yeah, I noticed how like much of a man you became when she was hurt, and I realized she was the key to unlocking your potential. So I killed her." I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, he would have had to die. Pops going down.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what it is now. Now he's just training. Now he's just trying to get to his dad. It's a revenge story.
I
I'm
can
reading a
see it.
couple more, but I can talk when they become a little more interesting. I'll talk about them.
Yeah, he out here just woo, buddy.
Yeah, his dad gave him tasks. Like he said, there are multiple people here with dragon tattoos. They're not really useful to us, but they're young and they're good. What is it like? What when you use someone as the scapegoat? I guess they were good
Yeah,
scapegoats. They were good like throwaway guys, sacrifices, stuff like that. And he was like, if you find them all and beat them all, then you'll have a shot at me. So now he's on a hunt for people with dragon tattoos.
I would just fight you anyway.
Yeah. Well,
So
he was
soon I
go-
get out,
he
it's on
tried
sight, baby.
he tried to right then and there, but like I guess the Yakuza gang has like the cops and whatnot in their pocket. So like his dad had a whole crew in there that like wouldn't let his kid near him.
Yeah.
But then he started
Mm-mm.
abusing his power. Like he also realized that I'm stuck in here right now, but I'm also this dick's son. So they have to treat me well. So like he ordered pizza, and like he's able to go where he wants to go, and he's, it's a interesting. I don't think you would like it per se because of
Nah,
the form of content, but it is entertaining to read.
not the killing of little girls because you want your son to be big and strong. No.
It's not exactly the same as what happened in Baki, but it just reminds me of like the scene in Baki where like Baki was about to have sex with his girlfriend, and his dad with his creepy face was just there. And then he's like, "We're doing this. I'm about to mess with you." And I see my dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Baki. Blah, 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 blah. Dialogue, dialogue, dialogue." And he tells her, "A man needs to feel like a man, and you need to do your job to help him feel good." And something along those lines.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna get back up on watching some anime some more. So
I
get a
do
little
want to
bit
like
more.
open up. I'm enjoying the things I'm watching right now. Alpharita, ReZero, Blue Lock, Prince Tennis. and occasionally Bleach. I don't prioritize Bleach too much because I already know what's all about to happen.
Yet talk about none of them in this episode.
But like, there's not much to talk about. Blue
Not
Lock,
even a little blurb.
Blue Lock was a good episode, but like the animation is poor, so a lot of people were mad at it. Alpharetta was it wasn't filler, but it wasn't like action packed.
Yeah.
ReZero is about to be hype. I need to watch the next episode. The last episode was just like, hey, here's the plan. This episode is about to be lit. And Prince of Tennis. There's only so many times you can talk about a tennis anime. Only so many different ways you can talk about a tennis anime.
Yeah. If you say so, Kang.
Hey man, you watch it and come up with a 10-minute discussion.
I might.
Do it.
Just don't tell me with a good time.
But I don't got nothing else.
Yeah, go ahead and wrap that thing on up.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.